Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Wednesday. I hope everybody is having a wonderful day. You know, I did a really good video on my tablet, but because I'm in a rural area, it takes forever to upload and it devours my data. So I'm using it. I am coming to you today on my cell phone because guess what? Unlimited data. So welcome to He Set Me Free. My name is Robert, or what I like to often refer to as Rideshare Parallel Universe, or a new title I've come up with, Rideshare Alternate Universe. Same thing. You know, over the past few days, I've been driving for Uber and Lyft. And I've experienced some anomalies, if you will, whenever it comes to driving for Lyft. I've talked about these anomalies before on my channel, but I feel the need that I need to talk about them again because you may feel like you're going crazy. The name of this video is called Gas Lamped by Lyft or Uber. Gas lamp essentially means, if you've ever seen the movie, you're made to feel like you're going crazy. You hear things that aren't there, but you know that you heard something. So you think. You see things and you're like, wait a minute. Or in the case of the movie, the husband was making the wife crazy. It's an old black and white movie, 1924, I think, or 29, something like that. It's a really good movie. Over the past couple days, with the exception of today, because Lyft would not give me any rides, because I called them out on social media yesterday twice. I had accepted a ride for $68.93. It was actually not for a passenger, it was to carry a part from Waco up to South Dallas. Now, in the past on Uber, part shops would do this because they don't want to wait for delivery or for it to come through the mail. So what they will do is they will use rideshare. It's easy money to deliver a part. So I take the part up there, it's 81 miles. But then I happened to see my notifications and it said $64.40 deposited into my Lyft account. I'm like, wait a minute, something's not right. So I get on, sure enough, what had happened, and I've talked about that this happened a couple months ago on Lyft 2 times back to back. I accepted it for one price. But then whenever I go to the passenger, unless I check that ride, it was a reduced price. So to get me to accept the ride, they inflated the price. They manipulated the ride. But then whenever it's all said and done and there's no proof to the ride, they only paid $64.40. I brought this up on X. Lyft didn't say anything about that because the guy that I delivered the part to promised a tip. So I sent a message out on X. I said, you know, with all the long distance rides I've done on Lyft, only one time have I ever received a tip from a passenger, which leads me to believe that Lyft keeps tips on long distance rides. Now they responded to that one and I didn't respond to it because they're going to ask for proof. Well, how do you know? Or they're going to try to counter it. Well, maybe the passenger actually didn't tip or whatever. I know how this game works, and I know how Lyft works as well too. But after that, I decided that I will no longer accept long distance rides on Lyft for a couple different reasons. They charged the man $105 and some change, and then only paid me $64.40. They took $42 of that long distance ride, or 38%, which is the standard for long distance rides, either to Austin or to the Dallas area. But what I found ironic whenever I looked at the breakdown, $37 and some change which went to external fees. I have talked about this quite extensively. It is my belief, without proof, that inside that external fee is hidden their service fee. How does Lyft make money? Because their Lyft fees say it goes to maintain the website. So, does that mean that external fees is their cut? That they take a portion of that? It's not just insurance and government regulatory fees and taxes? That they hide that in there as a service fee? I would have to say yes at this point. Because you can't justify for that ride to take $37 and then the actual Lyft fee itself was $5.79. Doesn't make any sense. So, which equals $42 and some change. Something else that I noticed too the day before and yesterday, well, let's talk about Monday first. What I noticed on Monday was to get me to accept rides, they hid certain information, like it was multiple stops. They didn't even include it. It wasn't until I got to the passenger and I hit arrive that it showed up that the ride had multiple stops. It didn't happen once, it happened twice. The second time, I was aggravated and I kind of took it out on the passenger, but then we got to his stop and I told him, I said, I'm sorry, but alcohol is not allowed inside this car. And he was gracious about it, but then he pulled an attitude, and it is what it is. Because at that point, that was my last ride of the day, because Lyft had screwed me over so many times. You would not believe the amount of miles that I drove on Monday for the $95 that I made off of Lyft that day. Now yesterday, what they did was they manipulated rides in such a way to guarantee that I would accept that it was a close pickup. When in reality, whenever I started towards the passenger, I'm like, wait a minute, this ride's a lot farther than they indicated for the price that they're giving me. And it happened multiple times yesterday. Multiple times. But then I also noticed too, between the 2 days, that they were hiding addresses. They would head towards, and they would give 2 streets. They was hiding it because if you are a driver in Waco and you've been doing it for a long time, or like myself from Waco, then you know streets in what areas. They do this so that you won't decline the ride. Well, subsequently, with me doing what I did yesterday and calling them out, just like weeks prior, and they would not give me any rides, they didn't give me any rides today. Plus, it was a really slow day, so I was forced to drive for Uber. It wasn't a great day. It hasn't been a great day all week for Uber. Uber tried to rate me Monday, and they tried to rate me Tuesday, and today I was just forced to. I thought I was actually doing pretty good until I looked at the mileage. Yeah, not so much. Because whenever I did the breakdown of my mileage and I sorted it all out from the least to the greatest, you started to see that gap in between miles to earning ratio. In other words, there was for total miles, from the time that I accepted that trip to the time I dropped that passenger off, it was very, very noticeable. But something else that I noticed too, with the exception of one trip, the money and the mileage, total miles, they all lined up perfectly. In previous data sheets, it would be all jumbled on the money because I would sort according to total miles, because that's the only way that you can make sense of it. You can literally see the trend through your day. And like I said before in other videos, it's random. You'll never notice it. But if you keep the data sheets, then you can see it. All right. Well, today, I thought I was doing it and it was keeping me kind of off kilter. Started out small and then it gradually started going up and then it started to jump more and more and more. They played with the numbers. Though the to pickup was less than the mileage, or to the in trip with passenger was less. You need to put those two together because you got to remember they charge for the entire mileage package, just like with time. Okay, time was all pretty standard, anywhere between 13 to 18 minutes per ride. It was the mileage. Actually, I think the most I had was like 20 minutes. So, but on Monday and Tuesday, it was horrible. Both days, especially yesterday, I knew without a doubt that all rides I'd have to pick up the passengers 4 miles or greater, all right, with an end trip of added miles, okay? But I would not make anything over $5, and I think it was 79 cents. I knew that automatically. You can almost bank on it, whatever that first ride's going to be, unless it's an anomaly ride, and an anomaly ride means that they can't get anybody else to pick that person up. So what they're going to do is they're going to toss you a little bit, but you're going to have to drive for it. I had 2 of those on Monday, but then I started to settle into that zone where I didn't make anything over $6 a ride. And I only had 5 rides on Uber on Monday, 2 yesterday. And yesterday, what was so unique is on Saturday, my 3rd ride on Saturday was what they zoned me into an area of Waco, and it was very narrow and long. Well, not really long. It was basically from Bosque to Herring, which is 1 mile apart. From 18th Street to Belle Meade, that's 4 miles. I couldn't get out of that area if I tried. My second ride, I picked up on the edge of the zone that they had me, and I carried out to Belle Meade. I logged off and I took Loop 340, and I was going to come out in South Waco. Well, halfway there, I turned my Lyft back, or my Uber back on. I get a ride to pick up somebody from Hillcrest Hospital. Start the ride, I notice the drop-off. The exact same area I'm trying to get out of, they sent me to the heart of Saturday, Lynn Street. On Saturday, I had 2 rides that I took out of the area, and the 1 ride, my 3rd ride, I took in. Outside of that, with the exception of 1 other ride that was outside of the area, Uber purposely, willfully, and maliciously kept me in that area. Even turning my app off and going to another part of Waco, they still pull me back in. So what was unique about yesterday is the lady that I dropped off on Saturday, I picked up a guy from that exact same address yesterday, and I carried him out to Belle Meade. Now that was 2 rides, different areas, but I'm going to get to the point here in a second. At which point, I get another ride in the same area where my first passenger I picked up in Northwest Waco. It's kind of it's an older area. Most of the homes are built in the late 1950s, 1960s time frame. California ranch style. I picked her up before. She works at Magnolia Table. Okay, so this is Northwest Waco. I'm down here in Belle Meade. My next ride would have taken me up to Lake Shore, back to the area where my first ride was. So what does that do? That locks, if I would have accepted that ride and not declined it, that would have locked me into North Waco, and I would not have been been able to get out of it and work that area. It's all short with passenger rides, but you're going to drive anywhere between 3 to 5 miles going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And if you get stuck in Northwest Waco, you might as well cut it off. You're done. The most that you're going to earn on any given ride is $4.09. They're all short rides, and I've talked about that area of Waco quite extensively because that's where everything is centrally located at. All right, so when Uber zones you into an area, you can try like hell to get out of it. It's not going to happen. So over the past several days, I've been really struggling with my faith because rides have dropped off. It's literally like half of Waco quit their jobs. I'm not even joking about this. The rides have significantly dropped off, or there's more drivers in Waco now because places like Temple and Clean have fallen off so bad, all right, that they're coming to Waco. The problem is they're killing the market. But something else that I've noticed too is, like I said, there is no rush hour traffic anymore. Now back on June 1st, right after schools were let, everybody was going to work. But by the second week of June, things fall off. And that's whenever things really started to fall off with Lyft, and I had to start driving for Uber. Now I've been doing pretty good on Uber, with the exception of this week. I've been having to drive for Lyft. And with Uber, I mean, it's Wednesday. Wednesdays are typically, historically, bad days. It's the middle of the week. It should pick up back tomorrow going into the weekend. But while I was at the grocery store today, I noticed that there was for the time that I went to the grocery store, typically HEB, that HEB is always packed. There wasn't anybody there, which coincides with the amount of people that's not on the road. I used to talk to drivers or passengers about it all the time. At 10 o'clock, it was like someone turned the light switch on and all the roads got full. Well, over the past 3 weeks, I haven't been seeing that. People are staying home. So it's really impacted rideshare. On top of Uber pulling its crap that they're doing, Lyft manipulating rides because drivers are getting smarter. So they're playing their games with pricing and mileage and not giving specific details so that drivers can decide whether they want to accept that ride or not. And something else that I notice too, whenever I go and I do my breakdowns at the end of the day, on Tuesday and Monday, I saw where Lyft ate rides, meaning they couldn't get anybody to pick those people up. So therefore they got nothing whatsoever except for external fees. They're going to get their portion, which is why I said that Lyft, there's something in there for Lyft for external fees. I don't care what they say, okay? They're hiding something at this point. And without a shadow of a doubt, I am convinced that inside of external fees is their service fee. That is their profit. That is what they take, all right? It's not just for maintaining, like in Lyft fees, the website and to continue to grow. You have to make money someplace, and it's not there because it's pennies on the dollar. It's hidden in external fees, okay? Because they always take out on external fees, always. That is the one thing that they always take out on, always. They will eat it on Lyft fees. So, I just wanted to do this video because, like I said, I've been trying to upload it on my laptop. It's taken forever because I live outside the market, and even if I'm in city, for whatever reason, YouTube has been really slow loading on laptop, and I don't know why. So I'm here doing it on my phone. With that being said, please be safe out on those roads. Remember everything that I talk about. Like my videos so that other people can see them. Share the videos. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think about what I talk about and if you've experienced it. And subscribe. All right? Subscribe to my videos so that you get more of my content that as I start to see strange things out on the roads, then I can bring them to you to inform you, the driver, the passenger, or just someone that's thinking about doing ride share in a city. All right, y'all be careful out there. Until then, till next time, be blessed.